I've got some truth to tell you. Come here, come here, come here. If you want to be known in your niche or in your industry, you will eventually annoy someone. It's going to happen. It's all right. Come here, come here, come here, give me. We got this. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. If you're tired of the old cookie cutter marketing advice and want to take your personal brand to the next level with bold, actionable strategies that truly reflect you, you're in the right place. Let's untangle your marketing mayhem with Zoe, the video confidence coach, on the Unboring Your Brand podcast. Unboring Your Brand was recorded on Wadawurrung land. And breathe out. Sorry, I am a bit of a tight hugger there. So we have a question all the way from Tucker where we had a nice quick conversation, and I'll look forward to chatting with you again in the future, Tucker. The ultimate question that we're answering in today's podcast is, how do I build a strong personal brand without getting dragged into some internet drama or some internet tea or trying to just please everyone? And that's the two sides of that little weight or the pendulum there. And I understand where Tucker is coming from. That is definitely true. If you aren't causing controversy online, it definitely feels like you're just people-pleasing online. And to an extent, that is actually true. As we get, further and further down this internet rabbit hole as a global society, getting attention online very much feels like you need to be, stirring up some shit to be able to get people's attention. And I want to stress, this feeling is fleeting attention, viral attention, not long-term attention. And when we are growing our personal brands or our business brands, we want this to be long-term attention. Now, sure, you could get followers, subscribers, or maybe even some good sales in that time. But then once that hype dies down, once the tea wears off, you're kind of left sitting in the mud by yourself. That goes for like your childhood, whenever, something happened and you were kind of just left there at the end of it. And that also goes for now, because we all can conjure up in our mind an influencer or maybe someone of that ilk who does shady things over and over again. They have like snarky subreddits devoted to them. And it's very much a feeling of like, I don't want to be like that to be able to attract attention or to sustain attention on the message that I want to put out there, the people that I want to help. I want to be the leader that this personal brand is demanding of me. But I can't do that if I have to be slimy and icky in the meantime. Or on the opposite side of the pendulum, you have to people please everyone that you meet just to be able to get a sale, get your message out there. And when you are growing a personal brand, it can be scary stepping into leadership, especially if you're someone who's not personally inclined in it. I myself am what is known as what is known as a natural born leader, mainly because I was forced to in leadership situations my entire life. So I became a natural born leader out of just nurture, just shoving me into that particular box. And where being a leader is not as much of a pain for me as I have seen from other people in my life, be it my family, be it my friends, and be it my clients. And when you are growing a personal brand, it is not just about posting content. You are ultimately becoming a leader online or moving your real world leadership into an online version, especially when it comes to your personal brand. And this includes having opinions, being a connoisseur of taste. And not everyone is going to agree with that taste that you have developed over however many years of experience that you have in your industry. And not everyone is going to like every opinion that you have. Oh no, that's going to happen. Now, as you may be listening or watching this, you may think, Zoe, who gives a crap? That is true. And for some people, they're going to be scared shitless by that fact. And when it comes to most, if not all of the platforms right now who are doing their best to mine human attention, right now, most of these platforms will reward emotion and outrage over nuance, over message. And it can be easy to confuse having an opinion with manufacturing controversy if those opinions do not meet the status quo of insert your industry here, of your local community or what have you. And everyone is allowed to have opinions. Not all of them are correct, but that's the point of having opinions. You're supposed to be human. And when it comes to being the connoisseur of taste, if people wanted just a generic output, if people wanted just a generic step-by-step guide on how to do something, they've got AI for that. They've got Google for that. They've got Bing for that. They've got places they can go. You are growing a personal brand to help the people you want to serve, to get your message out there nice and clear. And to do so, you have to be that arbiter, that connoisseur of taste. What are things people can forget and let go? What are things that are going to be useful? What are tools that they can use to better themselves or to better the situation of their family or their friends? Again, when you are talking to people, you are not necessarily talking directly to your target market, by the way. You're sometimes talking to other people. To be seen or shone on a glimmer that is this internet that is full of people vying for your attention, it can feel like I don't want to be someone who is constantly having the tea, sis, read about them just because I just don't want to be that type of person. I don't want to be that type of influencer, and I also don't want to cultivate that type of energy in my community. Now, don't get me wrong. Your girl loves a good gossip, and you can check that out on my podcast episodes about gossip. It's because gossip is mainly considered a woman's thing, and therefore it is denied by patriarchal society, because when men do it, it's not gossip. Recently had some family members, men, who were gossiping, and as soon as I called it what it is, they immediately freaked out. It's not gossip, it's man talk. Called gossip. But getting back to the point at hand, when it comes to these algorithms, whether or not we want to win it or not, we are being influenced by them. And they push reactions so that they can train people to perform bigger and louder to attract more attention. I'm beginning to sound like one of those, if you've ever taken a flight and they do the safety announcement, I'm beginning to sound like that. My apologies there. It is understandable when you see that online, or maybe your algorithm is finally susceptible to it and it very much pushes that type of stuff towards your way. And it can feel like that's the only way to grow. That's the only way to develop a community. That's the only way to grow a personal brand, is to be honestly dramatic. It can be normal to feel rattled if you get pushback for your opinions, or like I said, your connoisseur of taste. Because you feel like you're right. You have the expertise and knowledge about whatever industry you happen to be in. You're not always right, but you definitely feel right in the moment. And when you get pushback, that discomfort can definitely feel overwhelming. And in the rare events where you have multiple people, or bots, could be bots, reacting to you on either a certain platform or all platforms, where something that you did, or maybe something even you didn't do, that feeling of discomfort can feel like danger. But when that reaction develops into doxing, that is real danger. I'm not saying this to be negative, and I'm not saying that once it crosses into harassment, threats and doxing, that it's not a part of branding, because that's a safety issue, I want to stress, and make sure that you, yourself, and your family, and your business partners, your friends, your staff, whoever you're working with are safe, and you have to make sure of that, because it is your personal brand. You are the leader. You are the one in charge, whether you like it or not. This drive and need to people please, either in your day-to-day life, in your messages, in your content, is a real fear for everything that I've just mentioned. But I'm going to tell you now that that's not going to happen. And if it does, I'm going to tell you now there's probably plenty of community and people who support you who will back you up. There is always going to be people contrary to your beliefs, contrary to your values, that you're just going to come across people like that. And sometimes there are drive-by comments, which I like to call them drive-bys, because they ultimately aren't sticking around to see what happens. And you are doing this to serve your community. I have been accused of this plenty of times, where I am doing my best to be warm, full of gratitude, and to be helpful to people who reach out for my help. Now, at times do I make it quite clear, like, hey, I don't have capacity right now. Here are the things that will be useful for you. Here is an answer to your question. But like, I still do my best to be helpful and to keep warm, but that is not people pleasing. That is called customer service. If you're trying to keep your tone warm for the people that you genuinely want to help, you can still do that while holding boundaries, while being clear that you won't respond in the next 30 seconds, that your opening times are from here to here. Outside of that, you are there for your family, for your friends, for your community. The people that want more from you aren't necessarily the people who are going to pay to want more from you. And that is my boundaries. If you want more of my time, you are going to have to pay for it. I can answer a question easily. Happy to have a yarn, happy to have a good chat. But anything beyond that requires payment. I am a business owner. I am a personal brand builder. And if you want my inspiration, my thoughts, my creativity to feed into an AI machine, no. You're going to have to pay me a lot more than that. Probably in the billions, to be perfectly honest. And when you are people pleasing and you can sense it in yourself, maybe friends and family are telling you like, hey, it's getting a bit much. Or maybe you're just looking back at a recent video that you recorded and you're noticing it. Or you're noticing this drive at, say, midnight where you're answering emails or answering DMs from a recent video that you posted and you're like, I'm people pleasing. I'm trying to constantly push to please the people. I want you to ask yourself what you stand for and what you won't compromise on, even if it costs you engagement, likes, follows, reshares, which is why I find it very helpful when I work with people who can clearly articulate their values, their boundaries, and also who they clearly work for. And for example, recently over these past couple of weeks, I have expanded the people that I work for into like 3 avatars. Most people I recommend 1 because it kind of starts you and gets you clearly focused. For me, it's gotten to the point of my business and my personal brand where I now work for clearly 3 different customer avatars. But I still have the same values that go across all of that. My values of leadership, of courage, are still very much forefront for what I do. And it's a privilege that I am able to run my business, grow my personal brand, help others grow their personal brand with those values in mind. When it comes to people pleasing, it is pushing those values aside, just brushing them off to the side. Oh, I can do this for money. But to be honest, a lot of the time, it's mainly just your attention, your energy, your effort. Feeling the need to constantly grovel at the feet of people who may or may not pay you. Once the money is in the bag, then I perform. Then I do my little circus monkey dance. In that meantime, I'm happy to support and help you grow your personal brand, but there are boundaries in place. And when it comes to your opinions and being worried about things being taken the wrong way, your opinions will be controversial to someone. They could be the most vanilla, mundane milquetoast opinions, but people are still going to have a problem with it. And your opinions, I stress, can evolve over time, can change once you get new information, because that's what opinions are. They should change and evolve over time, but they should still relate to your values, your core values, what you feel when it's real, verifiable information that changes your perspective. Because again, you are the connoisseur, you are the personal brand builder, you are the one putting in the work, and you are the one with the clear and articulate message that you want to put out there in the world. And you've got opinions, goddammit, and you are going to express them. But ultimately, the point of this feeling, this drive to people please, can be thwarted by this need for consistency and trust. People should know what you're about and what you're not about. The type of people that you want to work with as your clients and the people who are not a great fit. Your personal brand is ultimately leadership. It is not people pleasing. It is not bending over backwards to fulfill someone's fantasy. There are other jobs for that. Having opinions and being a connoisseur of taste for your particular niche or industry is normal and is honestly expected in this day and age. Why? Because AI can give you generic slop. You are here as the personal brand builder, that leader, and in turn, you need to be able to be clear with your message. Manufacturing controversy is honestly optional, and to be honest, can sometimes happen depending on how spicy that opinion is. But if you stand by it and it agrees with your values, screw it. That's your opinion. And I don't want you to immediately go double back if that feeling is ever threatened by someone, because again, it aligns with your values and who you want to serve. So you don't feel the need to double back because it's what you believe in. I'm not saying if you make a mistake, you can't walk it back. Sometimes mistakes happen. Algorithms honestly just reward outrage because it drives engagement. It drives attention and it drives clicks. But you need your boundaries to help you stay sane as a human on this world. You need your boundaries to be on purpose, not just flexibly moving around to please the next person that comes down the line who could potentially give you money, but honestly just sucking up your attention and time. And even if they do give you money, that does not necessarily mean that they can break your boundaries. A warm tone, but firm values can exist at the same time. The little pendulum that we talked about earlier, the middle is still being kind, because being clear is kind, but also being clear on your boundaries. And your boundaries can simply be that any more than, say, 5 messages in a DMs would require someone booking in a session with you. And if they go, hey, I can't afford that, then like, cool, that's your boundaries. And give them a next step. Do you have a podcast or a live stream? Or would it be best to maybe move the conversation on email where you can get a better understanding of what they need? And if they are looking for something that is clearly a paid service of yours but do not have the funds to pay, say thank you. Give them some next steps that would be beneficial to them, but you don't owe them anything. Yes, they want support and you can definitely give it to them, but that does not mean that it takes up all your time and energy, because you don't need to please everyone. And when it comes to safety issues or when things get very dramatic, it's no longer content problems. It's about getting the support when that escalates. And I want to stress if, because we do see this out in the world, and sometimes in particular niches, it can happen a lot because they are inherently very opinionated, very connoisseur-driven industries. And that's okay. It's going to happen sometimes. But I want you to rely back on your support network, of your community, of your family, of your friends. And if those things aren't strong, invest that time in strengthening those bonds, in talking to friends who are outside of your niche, who do not give a crap what you do or how you serve or your message. They care about, are you okay? They care about you. And those are the type of people that you need to constantly have access to. If that does mean that you have to take the initiative, go ahead and do that. But trust is built when your message is consistent, your values are clear, your boundaries are clearer, even under pressure. And I want you to do that for me, where I will have some extra recommended episodes lined up for you after listening to this one. Or you can check out the episode that I talked about gossip. You'll find all the details in the show notes in the first link of the episode. But the other episodes I'd love you to line up are episode 83. Not everyone, you are not for everyone, and that's perfect. That is further delineating and carrying on what we talked about people pleasing, but specifically talking about having a clearer message. And then we've got episode 52 that I'd love you to line up, which is Trust, Stop Selling, Start Belonging, which is all about visibility, leading with values, and not just chasing reactions. Look, everything that we talked about today solidified a bit more for you. What I would love you to do is, if you haven't spent the time really articulating or thinking about your values, what I would like you to do is just to spend 5-10 minutes without a screen, maybe with some pen and paper. I'm just going to get you my pen. I have my little booklet of some pen and paper, and just take some time maybe thinking of just some values, or the values that you know you hold dear. And if it helps, maybe putting it into a sentence so you can articulate it better to other people. It helps if you have, say, maybe some 3 words that you stand for, and maybe 2 things that you won't stand for, like what you won't engage with. And if you put that all in a sentence, it's easier to deliver to other people. For example, I help values-led business owners show up on video without all that hype. I don't do drama marketing. I don't debate my right to exist. And that is something that you can do in your own work. You can start leading with those values and also leading with that message. You can generate an entire series of content about that. But for now, let's focus on not having you people please every second of the day, because it's exhausting. The next best fit that I would love you to check out, if you are someone who is in this situation right now and you are unclear about who you talk to, why you talk to them, or just need the time to really focus on your values from a personal branding content, video content lens, because I'm your gal, or feel free to check out the Glow and Grow branding session to sharpen your brand and to sharpen what you stand for so your message is clear and steady. Because remember, clear is kind. You can check out the link in the second link in the description for that. You can also check out the second link in the description for that, for the Glow and Grow branding session. Or if you're just quite unsure about how, you want to work together, you want to have a chat, you're not just taking up my time and just burning it into the ether, happy to always have a disco chat. You can check out that in the second link in the description. That is vcc.training/disco. And yes, we do a bit of disco dancing. I have a couple of people ask questions. I'm a fan of some disco. And as I would like to close up today, I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for listening or watching Unboring Your Brand. You can find detailed show notes with tools, offers, and episode transcriptions. Just click the first link in the description or go to vcc.training/podcast. Get involved and ask me anything about personal branding, video strategy, or just a friendly small business chat via my email, g'day@vcc.training. That is gday@vcc.training. The Video Confidence Coach would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I record my podcast. I pay my respects to their elders past and present. I stand with the traditional custodians of these lands in working towards a more equal future. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Look forward to me chatting at you next week, superstars.